Hello, everybody. So, this will be the last of the low unemployment mini series, which is the first mini series in the Government Macroeconomic Objectives Unit 2.3.1 in the IB Economic Syllabus. So, we've talked about what is unemployment and we talked about the types and the causes of unemployment. This video will focus on the consequences. So, I'm going to discuss possible economic consequences of unemployment and discuss possible personal and social consequences of unemployment. This should be a short video, so let's get started. So, possible economic consequences of unemployment as listed in the IB economic syllabus. The first one is loss of GDP. Well, obviously, if you have workers that are not working, that's potential GDP, potential national output that could be produced but isn't. So, there's a loss of GDP. There's a loss of tax revenue because you have workers that could be working and hence paying taxes that are not paying taxes. So, that's a loss of tax revenue for the government. On the other hand, there's an increased cost of unemployment benefits. The more unemployed people you have for longer periods of time, the more welfare payments and unemployment benefits the government has to pay out. There's also a loss of income for individuals. So that could get them into debt, that could cause an enormous amount of stress. That's also a loss of income. And it could lead to greater disparities or differences or inequalities in the distribution of income. Because usually unemployment hits the poorer, low income and middle income workers more than it does the richer, high income workers. So these are the possible economic consequences of unemployment. You should be able to talk about them in a little bit more detail because the learning outcome is to discuss. Possible personal and social consequences of unemployment. Well, higher unemployment is almost always associated with increased crime rates. The more unemployed people you have, the more likely they will turn to drugs and crime, whether it's to pay bills or because when people have nothing productive to do, they're more likely to go and find trouble. So increased crime rates, increased stress levels, which could lead to increased family breakdown, suicide, and so on. Increased indebtedness. The unemployed may have to borrow, for example, to pay off their mortgage and so on. That leads to increased indebtedness, which could lead to problems down the track, further problems down the track. Homelessness. A lot of people lose their homes when they lose their jobs or have nowhere to stay. Now that's another social problem and personal problem that is associated with unemployment. And it also could lead to a lot of family breakdown. Unemployment can really put a lot of stress on a relationship or a marriage, and it could lead to family breakdown. Kids going out there and committing crime and the father or the mother not being present. And, it leads to a lot of family breakdown. So these are possible personal and social consequences of unemployment. And this is why unemployment scares governments and they feel like they have to interfere to try to alleviate or to try to minimize unemployment and get rid of it. Now remember, frictional, structural, and seasonal unemployment, they are natural and they are, yes, there are ways to deal with them, but when the economy is at full employment on the long run aggregate supply curve, these three types still exist. But generally, these are the economic and personal and social consequences of unemployment. Thank you very much for your attention.